Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago, Bears fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you thought the Bears season was already exciting, hold on because there's some serious buzz coming out of the NFL rumor mill that could shake up the entire NFC North. And honestly, give Chicago a real shot at stepping up even further in the postseason. We're talking about the possibility of Devin Lloyd, the talented linebacker from the Jacksonville Jaguars, possibly making his way to the Windy City. And trust me, this isn't just your typical trade rumor. It's a potential game changer for the Bears' defense, especially considering the current state of their linebacker core and the need to boost their run defense and coverage units. So what's the story here? Well, sources whisper that the Jaguars, currently struggling at 4-7 with a defense that's leaking points at an alarming rate, about 25 points per game, are considering moving Lloyd. Why? Because Jacksonville is in a bit of a rebuild mode after a rough slump with Trevor Lawrence, and they've got some cap space, around $12 million, to shake things up. Plus, with their offensive line priorities and looming deals, they might see trading Lloyd as a way to rebuild their assets and address other team needs. Basically, they're at a crossroads, and Lloyd is a player they could afford to part with, especially if it means acquiring a valuable fourth-round pick in the 2026 draft. That's a solid return, given Lloyd's talent and potential. Now, let's talk about Lloyd himself. Drafted in 2022, this guy has been a sideline-to-sideline phenomenon, a real missile in the middle of the field. In his 4-year career so far, he's racked up impressive stats: 280 solo tackles, 120 assists, 12 sacks, 5 interceptions, and a PFF grade averaging around 84. 2. His coverage grades are solid, sitting at 85.5, and he's been a force against the run with a grade of 83. Lloyd's ability to chase down plays and shoot gaps makes him an ideal fit for any defense looking to inject some speed and versatility, especially for the Bears, who have been searching for a linebacker who can do it all. Remember, the Bears are 8-3, and adding a player like Lloyd could be the perfect piece to push the defense even further, especially after their recent signing of Tryon Shoyinka, which already boosts their pass rush. Now, if you're thinking, why would Jacksonville give up Lloyd? It's worth noting that the Jaguars are facing some tough choices. They have limited cap space, and with Etienne's deal looming, they need to allocate resources wisely. They also need to bolster their offensive line and add depth at wide receiver and defensive back. But the biggest concern is how losing Lloyd might impact their defense. He's a playmaker, a guy who can turn the tide of a game with his pursuit and coverage. If they trade Lloyd, they risk losing about 150 tackles from their linebacker core and a significant drop in their run defense, since their tackling efficiency could fall by around 17%, going from roughly 220 yards allowed per game to potentially more. For the Bears, acquiring Lloyd isn't just about filling a roster spot, it's about elevating their entire defense. Imagine Lloyd lining up next to Jack Sanborn. Those two could form a lethal duo. Statistically, Lloyd could add around 12 tackles for loss, boosting the Bears' run support and tackling efficiency. His ability to cover tight ends like Oliver would create mismatches that offenses would have to game plan around. Plus, with Lloyd's sideline-to-sideline speed, he can chase down plays and negate big gains. His presence would also significantly improve third-down stops, pushing the Bears' defense from roughly 37% success rate to near 49%, which is a game-changer in today's NFL. What makes this even more compelling is the potential impact on the Bears' overall defensive metrics. With Lloyd in the mix, their EPA per target could improve by about 0.12, and their big play allowance could be reduced by approximately 11 plays per game. His ability to disrupt passing lanes and force turnovers would be invaluable, especially considering the Bears' aspirations of contending for the playoffs and making a run at the Super Bowl. Think about how Lloyd's aggressive pursuit and tackling could elevate their red zone efficiency too, raising stops from 55% to over 70%. That's the kind of defensive upgrade that can turn close games into wins in December and January. let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Bears are sitting at 8-3, riding high after a solid season, and adding a player like Lloyd could be the final piece that pushes them into the elite tier. If they manage to acquire him, their odds for a deep postseason run would skyrocket. Bookmakers already have their Super Bowl odds improving, from plus 700 to plus 500, echoing the Ravens' recent push last year. The NFC title picture also looks brighter, with a 35% chance of making it to the conference final if Lloyd joins. And that's not just idle speculation. With his ability to contribute in clutch moments, his EPA per play in critical situations is around plus 0.32. He's exactly the kind of player who can be the X factor in tight games. Of course, there are hurdles. Jacksonville's front office might be hesitant. They're already facing cap constraints, and losing Lloyd could weaken their linebacker presence significantly, potentially dropping tackles for loss and coverage efficiency by more than 15%. Still, the Bears' defense, already ranked at an impressive 86. 5 PFF grade, could see that number climb into the low 90s with Lloyd's addition. His presence would also make a difference in the run game, reducing yards per carry from around 4.2 to closer to 3.6, and boosting their sacks internally from 15 up to 23, creating more pressure on opposing quarterbacks. In terms of strategy, this isn't just about adding another linebacker. It's about creating a mismatch nightmare for offenses. Lloyd's versatility allows him to shadow tight ends, blitz effectively, and cover the field sideline to sideline like a predator. His tackling efficiency and ability to shed blocks would allow the Bears to deploy more complex schemes, mixing coverages and blitz packages to keep opponents guessing. This kind of upgrade could be the difference between a good defense and a truly elite one, especially in a league where every possession counts. Now, considering the upcoming schedule, facing teams like the Lions, who are also playoff contenders, adding Lloyd could be the move that helps Chicago contain high-powered offenses and secure that top seed in the NFC. The Bears already have a solid core, but a player like Lloyd could elevate their defense to a historical level. Remember, the last time a Bears linebacker made this kind of impact was during the glory days of the 80s, and the franchise has been craving that kind of dominance ever since. Looking ahead, if this trade goes through, it could set off a chain reaction in the NFC North. The Lions, Packers, and Vikings will have to respond to Chicago's aggressive move, possibly prompting other teams to follow suit. For the Bears fans watching closely, this is a sign that GM Ryan Poles is willing to make bold moves to push the team over the edge. It's about building a roster that can contend not just for a playoff spot, but for a Super Bowl. The current roster has talent and promise, but adding a versatile linebacker like Lloyd could be the final piece of the puzzle. And as we get closer to the trade deadline, the excitement builds. Will Jacksonville pull the trigger? Will the Bears seize this opportunity to secure a proven playmaker? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The potential acquisition of Devin Lloyd is a narrative that could define this season for the Chicago Bears, pushing them into the upper echelon of NFL defenses and setting the stage for a historic run. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Chicago Bears news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So Bears fans, what do you think about this potential move? Would Lloyd be the perfect addition to help chase a Super Bowl? Do you believe he can be the game changer that propels Chicago into championship contention? Drop your thoughts below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and analysis. So stay tuned for all the latest Chicago Bears news. Let's keep the passion alive and keep pushing for greatness. Bear down.